I want to bring in a guest. Joining us this hour, of course, is National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I want to get your quick thoughts on what we just heard and this situation as it's unfolding.
Very bizarre. I didn't know what I was watching, earlier in the morning. It was very bizarre, very surreal. Savannah Guthrie, I have an opinion about her. She's a very, very tough news person, very, very accomplished. And so for something like this to happen is so, sad. I saw her, break down a few people in interviews, and I'm very impressed with the way she is. And so, to see something like this is just bewildering and hopeless. So I have no idea. I'm riveted to see how this rolls out, and I hope it rolls out in a nice way and they find her and everything is safe. I hope that happens, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no question. And it seems to me, Matt, he continues to appeal to the community. Yeah. And I think what's going to be important in this case is, of course, the help of the community.
Yeah. And that's the reason why they're asking for people to review their camera systems in that area, in that tight-knit community. But again, yesterday what we learned is that Nancy Guthrie could have already crossed state lines, that she was attacked in the middle of the night in her home. And today we were learning those additional details confirming the timeline in this situation. So she was last seen alive with her family members on Saturday. That was between 9:30 and 9:45 on Saturday. And then following Sunday, she was reported missing by family members at 11 a.m. So that's the time window that they're looking at. And that's also the area of the cell phone data that they're going to be reviewing, and possibly with her pacemaker that we're hearing reports that were not confirmed through the sheriff today, Michael, that some are reporting that the phone or the attachment, the pacemaker that is connected to an app on her Apple Watch stopped working.
Yes.
So, and that's why there's questions about whether or not they believe that she's still alive.
Yeah, it's certainly a question. And Matt mentioned earlier, Michael Jaafar, that essentially the tone of this news conference was a little different from yesterday, which caused some concern, I think, by the use of word that she was forcibly taken, this idea that her pacemaker no longer connected to her Apple phone. We all have something like that that's connected to a phone. Once it gets disconnected due to distance, that, of course, can be a problem. There may be some illness there that she needs medication for, and long past the time that she needs to take that medication. Mike, some final thoughts on what's happening out there in Arizona.
It was constricted. I lost my breath when I heard that, because, you think of any loved one, the forensics are showing you that the chance of finding this person alive is getting slimmer and slimmer. The fact that now they're saying she was forcibly removed and she was forcibly abducted and she needs medication to survive, very scary. I would not be happy if I was in the family. I'm really rooting for this woman, but this is very great reporting by Matt, because it really puts color to how urgent the situation is. It's very urgent, so I hope it works out.
Terrible. Sweet little family, just their whole lives shattered this morning by this defendant. Let's bring in our guest, still with us, National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. And as I said, you listen to this testimony, Mike, and the judge understandably has a difficult decision, right? We're talking about determining what to do with a young man. This crime would have been shocking had it been an adult doing it. But when you hear it's a teen, it's even more shocking, and how to deal with it becomes even more difficult.
This is why I would never allow myself to become a judge, because this is what judges, what really keeps them up at night. This is a very difficult decision, because at the end of the day, and I'm going to be pilloried for saying this, but the right decision, I think, would be to give them life to give them the eligibility of parole 25 to 40 years from now. That's what I think the right decision would be on paper. But as a human being, it would be, I don't know if the judge is going to do it. After that testimony, the woman, she couldn't get enough of her husband. She wanted to see him. That was tragic. I'm going to be drenched with this for the rest of the week. This is going to be a very difficult decision for this judge.
Now, Mike, how would the motive make a difference? Right now, we don't have a motive. It has not been released. Apparently, he left a note in his house after he kills his brother, leaves a note at the scene. That has been sealed. But according to whatever was written in the note, the judge made a determination that the killings were with malice, they were premeditated, and that they were deliberate. And when you hear those things, again, we're talking about a 15-year-old at the time of the shooting, but when you hear those things and that determination by the judge, does that change your mind?
No, you know what? Not really, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a 15-year-old. The prefrontal cortex of a young man starts to get developed at 12, 13, keeps developing until you're 25. And clearly this kid had mental health issues. So anyone looking at this would look at it and say, this was a 15-year-old person with mental health issues, severe mental health issues. Not just bad, but like on another planet, because he stabbed his own brother. He shot complete strangers. So to me, that's what I think this is. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what was in that note, but the judge clearly made his ruling, and, it is what it is.
Yeah, again, it's tough. But, he shot his brother. He put on camo clothing, got other guns, went out, started shooting random people. I mean, it's just tough to even fathom, Michael. All right. Stand by. We're going to take a great break here, folks. When we come back, we're going to have more from that teen killing spree sentencing for Austin Thompson in North Carolina. So keep it here on your front row seat to justice.